Hey everybody, Larry Lawton. Do I have a good one for you? And I know I always say it, but I really believe they are because I'm educating you on different aspects of prison. In this video, I'm going to talk about severe weather in prison, what they do to us, and how it works in all kinds of weather, because I was from all the way up north in Pennsylvania in prison to all the way to Florida in prison. So I'm going to let you know how we work and how it works in prison with weather. So before I get started, please check us out YouTube member programs, check us out Patreon, check us Discord. Please check Discord out. That's been a lot of fun. I've been going there. Check my book out, Gangster Redemption. People wonder what this shirt, this is this pizzeria that I burned down in Florida. Somebody wanted a shirt like that and we made one. Well, anyway, I'm gonna jump right in here and talk about weather in prison. Now, what's severe to one person is severe to the other. I got asked this question by a couple of people, and they even sent me some videos during Hurricane Katrina. Wow, what they did to those people in the jail and the inmates in there. And they went through the jail and how bad it was handled. And I often think of that when I think of other things, whether it's the war in Ukraine or wherever it is. What do they do with the inmates? I mean, personally, I would always let them out and I'd let them fight for their freedom. I don't know what they did, but I think they'd all want to be fighting for, in this case, Ukraine. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to be talking about weather. How does weather work? I remember a couple of incidents in prison where, we had to do a bunch of things. Now, here's how it works. First of all, if there's a hurricane coming, a tornado coming, severe thunderstorm, a nor'easter up in north, don't think for a minute they're evacuating that prison. In fact, I don't think they should. How's that? Because it's a pretty secure place. Those buildings aren't made with plywood. Those buildings aren't made like, you see some housing complexes going up, an apartment complex going up, and I'm seeing press board as walls. I'm saying, man, I could hear my fucking neighbor. I could hear him fucking if I wanted. Obviously, in prison, you're in a secure building. You are totally in a decent place. They have generators, they have cinder block walls, and you're not gonna get any debris flying through your windows or anything of that nature. But it's the after part that happens that hurts, and that's what happens. I'll first start when I first went into prison. I was up doing my before trial stuff. I was doing it in what they call Schuylkill, Pennsylvania, and I was also doing it in Ferreton, New Jersey. Those are the two main prisons I was at. Back in my day, they didn't just stick you in a county jail. They actually put you in a prison, and they had what they call a carrot unit, which means you had a jumpsuit. Obviously, we got to buy orange shorts, and that let the staff know that you were pretrial. So you're not technically a guilty person, but you're on the yard, you're going to chow, you're going to the rec yard, you're seeing friends, you're starting to make your contacts. That helped me in a way. I don't know if they're doing that much anymore. I think they are. So we're going to talk about, first I was up in Schuylkill. Now in Schuylkill, Pennsylvania, you're on a mountain. It's called Minersville, Pennsylvania, or Schuylkill is the little town. And then Minersville, Pennsylvania, now the prison's up on a mountain. In fact, it was actually really beautiful because outside the fence, we used to be able to see deer. I mean, big ass motherfucking deer. And that's because no one's allowed around that area. And nobody's allowed to shoot them around that area for sure. So I guess the deer got to know that. And they would be on the other side of the double fence. They had double fences there. Well, I remember the first time I'm out there. You still got to work. You still got to do things. I get fucking put on shovel duty, for snow. Holy shit. I never seen more snow in my life. Now, I'm from New York City. And back in my day, we had some pretty big snowstorms. But up in Pennsylvania mountains, it's a whole nother animal. And they had, 2 feet of snow. And there's no electric blowers or that kind of shit. Inmates do that shit. They call it the shovel brigade. Literally, they call it the shovel brigade. People have to go out and actually take the shovels and start shoveling the snow. Now, you had a jacket and gloves and a hat. You had all that. So it's not like they're sticking out there like on Con Air. They're sticking you freezing. No, you got cold. You can go in and take a quick break, get a cup of coffee. You could come out. You could do that. But boy, they wanted you to get, they'll tell you, the guard on duty, he ain't fucking standing there. They'll say, I want that. In prison, everything's a path. And it's not like, there's grass, but you're not allowed to walk on the grass in prison. You have to walk in the compound, I'm talking, not on the yard. And it was amazing because, you gotta go and fucking follow this page. First of all, you can't see. I was out there in the middle of the fucking blizzards and they're telling you they're fucking shoveling you. Why don't they just wait till it fucking snows? We would be fucking shoveling snow and it's fucking piling up, right after us. Now, we had a bunch of us, so we had, a couple of shifts of the shovel brigade. I remember what they called that. And even going into visiting, you had to get all the walkways clear. That was the job of the inmates, obviously. And you actually, I didn't mind it as much because I actually got exercise, and at that point, I'm not in long. I'm just getting my feet wet, and I'm trying to get in shape. I was starting to do push-ups, doing everything. Shoveling's a fucking hell of an exercise. I ain't doing it today. That's why I live in Florida. But in Schuylkill, Pennsylvania, the snow was the issue. And I meant feet of snow. And you'd get into the drifts and stuff. And, it's funny, you try to fuck around, have a snowball fight or something, but fucking guards are already screaming at you and stuff. But, we did things, especially, listen, some people just did things, some did. You did your work. You had to do your work. You couldn't fucking do your work. They'll come out and they'll threaten you and say, listen, you don't fucking do that, you're going to the box. You're going to the hole. They call it the hole, too. Going to the box, the hole. They don't call it shoe. Anyway, you're going down there. But we had a shovel, so that's one part of severe weather. Another part of severe weather, I was down in Florida. I remember this vividly. It was 1999, and the hurricane was Irene. Now, Irene, the reason I remember it is that's my mom's name, and it was near my birthday. I don't know when in October, but it was right around my birthday, maybe a little after my birthday, before, I don't even know. But Hurricane Irene, that was one of them that was coming up. Now, listen, once you see the prisons start panicking, and when I mean panicking, they fucking, all of a sudden you'll see the guards fucking, they'll do what they call a recall, and then they bring people out to get, like the yard. I worked on the yard. I didn't work, but I was assigned to the yard. I knew the guards at the yard, everything else. Used to watch TV, used to play cards, we used to do shit at the yard. I had a fucking poker game running at the fucking yard. But anyway, on the yard, so they start taking everything that's not bolted down. And you'd be surprised at what stuff there is out there. Now, obviously, there's stuff that is bolted down. Most of the stuff that, they don't want people to fuck with and stuff like that. But you'd be surprised, and mats and stuff on the floors, step equipment. We had, step aerobics and shit like that. You did certain things like that. And they would start pulling that shit up. And they would fucking start storing it and having it. And you'd see the guards all running. They must have had a meeting with the warden. And the warden tells them, hey, listen, you better fucking get this right. We have a hurricane coming, and they have their protocols. Because, when it, now all the inmates are funny, all the people in the prison are like, hey, what's going to happen? What are you going to do? They're going to leave us here. You think back at that, and you think are you just being a paranoid asshole? Because, trust me, the safest place to be during a hurricane or a tornado out in the Midwest, and I'll talk about that next, is in one of those prison units. What the fuck? Nothing is happening to that unit. Trust me. Yes, you're losing power. Yes, they have generators. They have their own power source. All prisons do. They have their own power source. And they do that so nobody can actually shut down the prison from the outside where they can't control it. All of a sudden, I've seen it lose power many times, and all of a sudden it comes on. Now, obviously, usually they lock people down. And it's not because we had electric doors or anything. I was never in a prison with electric doors except the county jail. Never was I in an actual prison that had electric doors. None of them. Even the newer prisons built back in my day. And I was in Forest City, Arkansas, which was a brand new prison. So anyway, during the hurricanes, they get fucking really antsy. You see all this stuff. And you will see the warden walking around. You'll see the associate warden walking around. You see the captain walking around. And they'll come to every fucking unit and they'll talk to the inmates in the unit. All right, we're getting ready for a hurricane. Everything's safe here. And they'll tell you all this shit. I don't know if they're just to keep you from not panicking or whatever. You're in the safest place. And you are. And we're going to still run everything. But now, recreation is closed. Or like they'll even you leave the unit open. And, of course, the yards are shut down already. And who the fuck wants to be out there anyway, obviously. I've seen guys out, running in the rain. You're allowed to do that. If they open that yard and it rains and it's not a bad rain or something, they don't give a fuck. I've seen guys run in the fucking rain, doing the rain like it's nothing. I guess they don't give a shit. And, you know, I get it. Me, I did care. Not because I was getting sick, because that wasn't any part of it. It was just they wanted their rep. Usually guys like me who are I hate to say players in the game, we'd always want to have the yard open because we can always meet there to pass football tickets, pass books of stamps, pass drugs, pass certain things that we did. And that happened all the time, obviously. So we would, that was a big deal. You know, to us, that was a big deal. So we like to have the yard open. And we also, you know, they very, very rarely shut pill line down. I mean, I've seen them have pill line come to the unit. Now, when that happens, it sucks because you're in your unit. When they had pill line and pill call, and I did a video on that, everybody goes up to pill line, and that's where we would meet at night at 8 o'clock. And to get the last of the football tickets in, to get the last of transport and somebody's drugs. Want this guy to, hey, this guy needs heroin over here. Hey, C Block needs this. And it was just like we figured out ways to get around everything. Now, during severe weather, it was a whole different ballgame because everything that disrupts the unit, I mean, the staff and everybody, and the units also disrupts us. You know, we have a life. We made a life, if you want to call it that, in a prison, and severe weather will put a ham damper on that because we don't know when we're going to get locked back out, let out. We don't know if there's going to be damage. We do know if power goes down, they have a whole protocol for that. And I'm sure the people are brought into the prison, the CMS staff and the people who run that stuff to get power up and running. But usually they'll bring in extra staff. And when I say they bring in extra staff, they don't go hire people. They don't get people. They get teachers. They get people like that. Like they get people who work in the kitchen. They get people who work in education. They get people who work rec. They get people who administration. I've seen secretaries in the administration office. I mean, literally the warden's secretary. They're out in the units handing out food, doing stuff they have to do. Because the worst thing a prison wants to do is lock down. Because once they lock down, they have to feed you. There's no inmates out there doing anything. There's none. When you are in a full lockdown, there's nobody working the kitchen. There's nobody preparing the trays and the food. They have to do it. The guards have to do it. And the staff and the administration staff of the prison has to do everything that goes along with that. So that's like, holy shit, we know it's coming. It's a pain in the ass, but that's just what we had to do. Now we can go into the Midwest and tornado. I was in Forest City, Arkansas, and tornadoes whip up. But now, whenever there's like severe weather or warnings in the area, even like it might be, they shut the yard down and they make everybody stay in their units. Sometimes they'll leave education open, they'll leave the hospital open, and the reason they do that, the church and stuff that's open if it's a Sunday or whatever it is, and the reason they do that is because you're inside the really kind of the compound, I call it. Now the yard is the yard, but the compound is itself. You're inside that compound. When you're inside that compound, you can't go anywhere. There's nowhere to go. You can't, you're seen by every guard in the world, everyone that comes out on the stairs or out in front of the unit. Because during movements, every prison I was in, we have what they call movements. Movements are, you got 10 minutes. They'll go, all right, 10-minute move, 10-minute move. And everybody they open the doors and everybody, you'll see them. It's actually amazing. Because you'll sit there and all of a sudden people just start coming from all the units. And they have to go where they're going. And then they'll go, close the move, close the move. Now, if you're in the middle, you can get to where you're going, obviously. If you get to leave. You have 10 minutes to leave that unit. And once you get out there, you go to where you're going. And you're locked in for the next hour. So they know where you are. So they'll keep the compound open during stuff like that. But they'll always close the yard. The yard is the biggest problem. Well, we were in Arkansas, and holy fuck, do we not see? And you can see out the fences, the two fences, we see a fucking twister, a fucking real tornado. Now, we thought this tornado was going to hit the prison. Everybody's, holy shit, you see this shit, like everybody else. I'd never seen a tornado until I seen one there. I saw what they call water spouts in the ocean when I was in the Coast Guard, but I've never seen an actual tornado until I was in Forest City, Arkansas, and this was 2000, 7, and you see shit. All you see is, I don't know if anybody out there have seen a tornado. You just see nothing. It's like a big fucking wall of gray. You see debris that flown up, and obviously out there it was all trees and branches and that kind of shit. Because we're in the middle of fucking nowhere. Listen, prisons aren't built in the middle of the city or in the middle of any city. They're out either way on the outskirts, out, where they have to drive to them. I remember driving to Forest City, Arkansas. I did a video out there, and it's in the middle of fucking nowhere. And I remember that when I was out there about the tornado, and it did not hit the fences, or it did not hit where we were. We saw it coming, and it's coming, but I guess it looks closer than it is, because it didn't hit the fence that I saw or anything like that. You saw the whole thing. It got very black, very dark, and very, like gray. You saw the shit way in the distance, whipping shit up. But, I didn't see the actual, like, funnel come down, and just hit that little spot. I never saw that. I saw a big wall of gray with fucking shit being thrown around. So you do know there was a twister. And boy, I'm telling you what, man, as a guy from New York, never even heard of a fucking tornado. I mean, I heard of them, of course, but holy shit, what's a fucking tornado? Everything you conjure up is to these movies where a fucking cow is flying around or a truck and all. But I did see the staff again. Again, I won't say panic. When they saw that off, now my cell was facing that where I could see outside. I used to have either cells near the door, I had a handicapped cell. I mean, so many cells. I had a cell that was looking at, you could see across outside, out the double fences. These are medium security prison. At that point, we were all locked in our cells. I don't know how the alarms are or whatever. I didn't hear any alarms, didn't hear any. This is a prison in the middle of nowhere again. So when you're watching this, it's like, okay, what's next? So again, I never feared any kind of weather, even a tornado or a fucking hurricane or anything, because I know I'm in one of the most secure places in the planet. I mean, if you want to be in a safe place, be in that fucking prison, because that fucking ain't blowing down, that's for sure. Again, can it flood? Can things, power go out? Again, they're a whole different animal with Katrina. Katrina, they abandoned the inmates. They literally abandoned people. Now, I often thought of that. Are these guys going to just leave us locked in this cell? It's funny because I was just talking at lunch today. I have severe claustrophobia. I don't know. It happened after prison. I even have a hard time flying because I feel boxed in. I can't get in an open MRI machine. And I know some of you people talked about it's probably my PTSD. But I cannot be, it blows me. I can feel, if I don't see a window, I don't see a way out, I feel really fucking, I get that anxious, and I get fucking where I want to fight. I will fucking, I told one dude want to put me in an MRI machine, I'll break this whole fucking machine, get me the fuck out of here. Don't you dare. I don't know what it is. I was in the hole for so long, so I know about isolation. I know about being where I can't get out. And I don't know what survived. I guess I didn't have claustrophobia then. For some reason, I developed or got claustrophobic, or whatever you want to call it. And I'll tell you what, guys, it's a freaky feeling. I've never had anything like that. Because I don't fear many things. I don't. But to have that fear is something like, your heart starts pounding, you're fucking, you're clenching your fists, you fucking start sweating, you're fucking ready. You don't know what's going to happen. It's I guess it's called an anxiety attack. And I don't have that shit. I don't mean it. Listen, people do. And they're real. And I know they're real because I've had it and I feel for people with it. But I never had it in prison with any severe weather or a hurricane or the snow or a tornado here. Now, today, I think I'd fucking probably die. I'd fucking go crazy. But I always used to wonder what would happen if they abandoned us. If you get abandoned in that prison and locked in, you're never getting out. It's not like you could fucking, chisel through the wall. I mean, you start thinking crazy and you say, wait a minute, what happens if these people just left us here, ever? We'll all die. We'll all starve to death in there. We'll literally starve to death in that cell. You better hope you have a lot of food in there. But I mean, there's no way of chiseling your way out. There's no way of Jimmy in the door. Trust me, there's none. There's none. I've fucking tried to figure ways out of cells 100 ways. You're not getting out of that fucking cell, people. It's just not gonna happen. People pound on those fucking doors for fucking hours straight. I used to shut the fuck up. My God. People go crazy and they do crazy things. And it's just part of where we were, part of the people we were around, and that's what it is. But I never feared severe weather. I actually felt more secure, if you want to call it. I didn't like, also this did happen, and multiple times, phones would go down. Now, I don't know why they would go down. You'd think the lines are underground or something, or whatever clicked, or they shut them down. It could have been that too. Because many times I got out of a cell after something happened like that, and there's no phone, nothing. But that's severe weather, from a hurricane to a snowstorm to a tornado in prison in severe weather. Probably, I hate to say it in a good way, the best place to be is in prison. But you sure don't want to go to prison to avoid a hurricane, tornado, or a thunderstorm, or a nor'easter, or whatever you're gonna get. You just don't want to do that, folks. You want to make good choices, stay out of prison, do the right thing, help some people, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day, everybody. Much love, much respect. Take care.